Hey everyone, talking today, doing a masterclass series for dads about relating to children, and basically the concepts, four keys for relating to our kids. One, set boundaries. Two, listen well. Three, apologize. Four, make the decision, make a call. So BLAM, blam. That's what I'm going with. So that's the four keys to relating to our children, being a great dad. So number one, setting boundaries. Very, very important to do. It's up to dads, I believe, to set a clear expectation of yeses and nos and what's allowed in the home and what's not. And I think God made us to bring anger, controlled anger, if needed, to set those boundaries. If brother is hitting sister or sister is speaking unkindly to brother, that needs to be corrected so that everyone can be their own person and can respect other people in the family. So setting boundaries. Now, culture is going to tell you that try to silence men with things about the patriarchy or toxic masculinity or whatever that is. No, this is about being a good father and a good man. So, important. Bringing order to the family, a very, very important thing. So anyhow, it's important to be calm and strong when doing this, not shaming or blaming, and really trying to teach and be directive and instructive is important too. So really taking a look at what we're saying, like what's the content, what are our words, what's our tone, what's our body language, and how are we communicating to it. If we're just tearing down or don't do that, it's not helpful. Like we need to say, no, I want you to stop and don't do that to your sister. She has fill in the blank. We need to instruct on what we want, not just what we don't want from them, but what we want that good interaction to look like. So I think that's a big key. So anger can be used for good, and I think this is one of those situations where that's called for. I heard someone at one point use a 1 to 10 scale, so they just self-monitor, say, where am I at and what do I want to bring? And most times instructing, a lot of times anger is not even needed, but sometimes it does take that. So those are the B. Some scriptures around that. Ephesians 4:26 about in your anger, do not sin. Hebrews 12:11. Discipline produces peace. We need to discipline our kids. It produces peace in the home. Kids know what to expect. They need expectations too. Deuteronomy 19:14. Don't move your neighbor's boundary. Just about respecting boundaries and property. And this goes back to 10 Commandments, right? Stealing and lying and not wanting what someone else has. I mean, a lot of these concepts not just apply to other people or adults, but they apply to kids too. That's where we learn it first is in the home. So that's a B. L, number 2, listen. So important to listen. And I think just even taking time out 5 minutes to sit on the edge of my son's bed to say, hey, how are you doing? And look at him and just pause and let him talk. Let him share about how he's really doing and me just not to say a word. I have found is super powerful. And it takes time, it takes mental space, it takes intentionality. I think all those are really key. I've got to make sure I'm carving out enough time to just even a minute or two, or just to listen when they have questions. A lot of times things come up at bedtime, last minute, and I've got to say, all right, how much time do I want to give to this here? So they do have to get to bed, and I want to hear this. And just hearing their perspective on life. How powerful is it when we can just share something that went on with us, some story or some good or bad thing with others? They want that from us. They learn that they matter. They learn that their perspective, their view on it is important, and that's going to once again follow them all the way through life. If they don't have that space, they're not going to learn that. They're going to learn that they don't matter. Their perspective doesn't have value. So some scriptures around this. James 1:19. Be quick to listen and slow to speak. Proverbs 18:13, and talks about being quick to answer before listening is folly or foolishness. So if we just answer really quick or interrupt people, it's foolishness. We need to listen to truly what they're saying, and that can be hard at times. And sometimes there's some streamlining that has to go on with the conversations with our kids too. But it's good to listen and give a certain amount of time to that, and always be just thinking and praying. All right, how much more do I give here? What have I heard enough? There's certainly that part of it too. That probably goes back to the boundaries part again, the B. So yeah, L, listen. Number 3, apologize. Something I learned early on is that we are going to screw up as dads, and I continue to make mistakes, and it is hard to drop the ego. It's easy just to want to be right and be in charge and be perfect, and that's not being a good king to our families either. When we make a mistake, it's good to own that mistake and just apologize for it. And I do it with my kids. I'll circle back to if I came out too strong, or if I just didn't hear the full perspective, if I jumped in too quick to make a decision, or maybe not allowing them enough space to be or to express what was going on with them. So anyhow, I think there's lots of reasons why I may come back and apologize, and I've done it many, many times. And I think it's important. And I found that my kids, I think, respect me more because they see that I'm willing to come back and do the right thing. And it's not about me being right. It's about making sure that it's just and it's fair for them and everyone else too. And I think that's really important. So apologizing, recognize that we're going to do it, just own it. It goes better. We'll feel better. They'll feel better too. And it shows humility, and it models that for them too. They'll pass that on in life too, typically. James 4:10, humble yourselves before God. And just once again, speaking to that humility again. And then James 5:16, confess your sins to one another. Obviously, we're not confessing our deepest sins to our kids. And we say that for hopefully male circles and places where we can do that. But certainly confessing that the areas we did wrong. And James is a great book just to talk about practical daily living and tips and guides. And it's just a great book for that. I do love the book of James. Number 4, M. So A was apologize. M, make the call. Similar. Lots of good to listen to perspectives and whatever one wants to do. But it's up to the parent to ultimately weigh out what's going on. What's the day ahead look like? When do we need to get to bed? What do we have going on over the course of the week? The yeses and nos. Are we going to play that game? Am I going to allow them to read a little bit longer? Those are all things that we need to make the call on, and not just let kids do what they want to do on the one hand, and on the other hand, not dictating every moment of their life, giving them freedom, letting them know that they're heard too, their perspective matters, and they're part of the family, and that their input is heard. And sometimes I may change course based on that, or we may do that. So hearing all people's perspectives on stuff as far as making a decision and what we're going to do, when we're going to go to the grandparents, when they want to go, but ultimately cutting that at a certain point and saying, okay, here's what we're going to do. Here's the call. And once again, I think culture has gotten in the way on this one too. If we kind of follow the logic of evolution down the way, we're all from cosmic sludge. We're all come from animals, and basically adults. Why would we have any more distinction from kids? And really, we're no better than animals, or even are animals better than us? I hear sometimes too on certain bumper stickers. So that line of thinking, that's not going to lead to a good family. That's just not going to lead to anywhere good. So the contrary is that God made man and woman. He made families. He made marriage, and guidelines to go along with them. So we're happy and we have peace. So yeah, put us in charge. Children to look to us and to honor your father and mother, one of the 10 Commandments, and us to be mindful and respectful of kids at the same time too. So anyhow, yeah, we are called to make the call, hear different perspectives, and not just do what the kids want, but say, hey, what are our values as a family? Where are we trying to go as a family? What truly matters to us, and then making the call. So some scriptures around this one. James 1:5, if any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God. So trying to seek a wise answer, not just going with what I think in my head. Maybe that means even calling a friend or two. And then Proverbs 3:1-35 is chock full of just seeking wise choices and advice. So anyhow, yeah. And in summary, BLAM, BLAM, for 4 keys for relating with our kids. Set boundaries, listen well, apologize when we screw up, and make the call. Hear everyone's different perspectives, but ultimately make a clean call. So perspective on relating to kids, and it's an important thing that we get that right, and it's something I think I know I'm in process in and still learning all the time. So anyhow, I hope you found this helpful. If you liked it, give a subscribe, send it on to someone you know, or give me a thumbs up. Thanks for watching.